If you want to understand Brexit and what happened last night, Britain's relationship with the EU, the whole thing, stop. Don't think about that stuff. It's not really about that. This is a global phenomenon. This is a revolt against technocracy and elites telling everybody else what to do. At the end of the day, for the past 20 years, 80% of the people have been told 80% of the time by the top 20% what to do, what to think, and what's good for them. Guess what? They've figured it out. The 20% needs to listen, because if they don't, they're going to find something out. The Hamptons is not a defensible position.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Crimson60620. I am here. I am near, and it was a Saturday morning, and I really didn't want to do a stream, but I still want to get a video out. I think I'm going to do more and more of these until I decide what I'm going to do on my PC. I found out that I have a 64-bit processor, so I can actually put more RAM into my shit. So I'm looking to think about spending more money to put more RAM into my shit. Anyway, yeah, this is one of those videos where it's just like, man, like, of course I'm gonna be doing some shit to like actually review the video. Funny shit. I was watching the Surfs, watching them all the fucking time. And even though some of their humor I don't fucking get, I still watch them from time to time, and yeah, it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. Some of the shit that I see, some from the videos that they actually view. Saturday morning, so like I gotta work like 7 a.m. This is like 5:30 in the morning or 5:50 in the morning. God, I started too late. And well, basically, thoughts about the fact that I actually go over a couple of thoughts. One, this may sound a little eerie, red pilly, but I wonder something, and this is not to like toot my own horn, fellas, all my like genuinely like decent fellas, you can actually be too genuine for women. And I'm not saying in the sense of like, oh, you're being an asshole or you're being a nice, like, no. You can be too genuine. You can state your case, which you may want, and kind of have people scared of you. But that's a good thing. That's a good fucking thing. I was having a conversation with my friend, and before we dated, but I actually brought it to her, like, because we're friends now, after the whole dating situation. And I was like, hey, is it a case where you can actually be too, quote unquote, nice for what some women may like? And she said, yeah. I mean, like, it's funny because I didn't take it as an affront. I didn't take it as a way I need to change my tactic. I took it as a like, damn, I've changed someone's opinion about how men should actually treat women. That was like, I couldn't do any more than that, because here's the thing. When somebody feels they don't meet up to your standards because of the way you treat them as far as a person, that's not a bad thing. That's just a good thing. And if they understand that you're doing it just to be genuine, because you value them as a person, because you care about their feelings and care about how you not appear, but you care about how valuable somebody else is, and they have to reevaluate themselves to say like, damn, this is how I really want people to treat me, regardless of what they get from me, but they just treat me fairly and well. That's like, that's changing somebody's world. And not saying it like in a big thing, but that's really like saying like, hey, you can be treated like this no matter what I get from you. I do it because just me. Now some people may be calling that simping and like, I get women's attention, you don't. Not that I'm doing it for that. Not that I'm doing it for that. But seriously, when you genuinely care about somebody's outcome, even if they're not giving you sex, but you just care about them and they recognize that, that's a good thing. And it doesn't help when they've already said, maybe this isn't my thing, and they have to pull away, and you tell them, no, I'm not trying to do that with you, and they're trying to control themselves, like so many motherfuckers, like this idiot that I'm going to be talking about. Actually, he said that men can't control themselves. Where's that button? All right, so I'm going to be talking about PragerU, Denis Prager. And I'm going to actually be doing some fucking Elite Dangerous. This is going to be a long video. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of it. I may have to do a part 2 depending on how long this takes. And me rambling earlier wasn't helping. But anyway, let's get to it.
Well, hello everybody. This is the Fireside chat I have every week. The I is Denis Prager. Hi, welcome. This is my home. This is...
No, god damn. I know people make jokes about his Fireside chats. Let me just reorganize some shit. And a lot of people just joke about the shit, so I don't know. But yeah, let's go. They always like feel bad for his dog, and it's just like, oh my god. Yeah, I feel bad for this dog living to a fucking hate monger like him too. And I don't even like having pets. Hot take. I don't think humans should actually have pets for their own enjoyment. I mean, like I understand the need when it's a symbiotic relationship for survival. But people just have pets to, I don't know, kind of have something for their own security. And it's just not me. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go.
This is my bulldog who, at about the 10-minute point, will begin snoring probably and get progressively louder over the course of the broadcast. At least that's what often happens, not always. Actually, Otto may be America's most famous dog at this time, which, as I often tell you, I am proud, as his sort of dad, that it has not gone to his head. There's nothing more obnoxious than an arrogant dog. I mean, let's...
Oh my god. Like, for real? Like, the arrogance from this motherfucker. Like, oh, my dog is the most famous dog of... The fucking arrogance. The fucking arrogance. But anyway, let's continue.
To be honest, a dog that thinks the world of himself is very unpleasant. And that's, of course, our Fire. It's a real fire, which we have not 24/7, but we have for all the broadcasts of the year, whatever the weather might be. So what is the purpose of these broadcasts, of these Fireside chats, is for me to just have as informal a time with you as possible, to offer thoughts on that I have. I want you to feel free to look at any of the now almost 90 of these, and hopefully there will be one day 1,000 of these. But whatever the number is.
Oh God, I would pull a bullet through my cockpit window in Elite Dangerous if it's determined to be over 1,000 of these. I'm sorry, I will.
is I want you to feel that you can learn from the first one as much as the most recent one. So I also would very strongly recommend that parents show this to their kids, just as they do PragerU videos. This is brought to you, of course, by Prager University.
Brainwashing at its finest, right?
Now, today is very exceptional, and I need to say this very clearly at the outset. I always read questions that are sent to me, and I am going to start with a question, and I'm going to speak about it for a while. I hope I'll have time for more questions. I may not. It's all spontaneous. But here's the point. This is not for little kids, whereas almost every other of the Fireside chats, I don't care if your 7-year-old watches this. In fact, I hope your 7-year-old does.
Wait, didn't he just say Fireside chats for kids, and now he's saying that they're not? Like, come on, dude, make up your motherfucking mind.
But this one is on sexual matters. It is about male sexuality, as you will hear in a moment, and so it's probably not for your 7-year-old. So if you have a 13-year-old, would it be good? You have to decide. Maybe watch it first, and then you will decide. I certainly think, generally speaking, given the world in which we live, teenagers should hear about this. Certainly by 15. One should not hide the subject I'm about to speak about.
Okay, so this is his first problem. Sexuality starts young. The actual kind of determining your whole body actually starts young. And I don't mean like breaking down like what was that whole meme from Kindergarten Cop, and what boys have penises and girls have vaginas. Like I'll look that up and put it in the video. But I'm not saying that meme. I'm literally saying like, hey, your body is your body, and it's funny. I actually have a 3-year-old niece, and I'm not around my niece much, so she's kind of fickle, hot and cold, and stuff like that. So when I come around, sometimes I'm scared Uncle Brian is gonna take me. Fucking just talk to myself. Take me and or I'm scared that now I want to stay with my mommy and stuff like that because I used to babysit for her. But the thing about it is, it's okay. And when it's like people's like, oh, give her a hug, give Uncle Brian a hug, I'm like, no, dude, she has the right to say, don't. I don't like. I have a big thing with always telling your kids like you supposed to hug this person because I just told you that. Don't give them a choice and or this and that. Like, fuck. Like that's what leads to a lot of people, basically. Especially with little girls. That tells them that no, you don't have autonomy. You just do what you want. You do what we tell you to because you're a girl. It reminds me of that school in Utah where a girl was disencouraged to say no to a date because the little boy needs that. Like no, fuck no. This is the shit that it starts not when you're fucking 15. It starts as little as you can just say that no, I don't consent to you touching it. But motherfuckers like Denis Prager, if we get to it, you would know why he has such issues. But let's continue.
From a teenager, the earlier that people know this, I knew this very early in my life, what I'm about to tell you, and for a whole host of reasons. But anyway, I'll read you the question. So I've told you about the littlest kids, and now you know. This is from Danny, who's 18. Perfect. Sydney, Australia. Hi, Danny and Sydney. Good day, Dennis. Very cute. Very good eye, actually. Good eye. When are you doing the Fireside chat on male nature you mentioned a while ago? It would be very interesting to hear your thoughts on it. And I love this. Also, what's your favorite Beethoven symphony? That's really funny.
This is gonna be fucking horrible with this question. But let's continue.
The combination. I'll start with the latter part. I probably have. They're all masterpieces, absolutely. But I would say the seventh, the fifth. I would go. The 7th and 5th are tied, and the 3rd and the 9th. And it's not coincidental that they're the odd-numbered symphonies. And I'll just take 20 seconds on this. Beethoven wrote 9 symphonies, and except for the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th are very, very serious. And the 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 8th are not. It's a very interesting thing. He would go intense, less intense, intense, less intense. Okay, male nature. All right, here we go. Megan.
Oh, he seems so proud of himself that he can say this symphony, that symphony. Like, dude, like, it was a time where Beethoven was considered just trash music. And this is like a little aside point, but it's just like, his contemporaries didn't like him at first because he did something new and different, and it's just like, yeah, like, it's, I'm off on a tangent, but, you know, it's my fucking show, I'm off on a tangent. But, yeah, his contemporaries didn't like him at first because he was just too fucking different. But let's continue.
Thank you. Okay, so this is very important. The very fact that I have to talk about this, and I've had to my whole life, and by the way, there is a series that I gave on male sexual nature, I think they're 4 90-minute talks. And I gave them a long time ago, and I gave them at a synagogue. So they're not exactly risque, but on the other hand, they're very direct. And they're very important. I am sure they're available at the Prager store, which owns all of my, I don't, which...
Is that a little tax dodge, like, for real? Well, I don't own the like, that's a tax dodge. Did he just admit to fucking I don't own what I said. I sell them at the Prager store. Like, people fucking think this is fucking brilliant. Sorry. People fucking think this is brilliant for him actively just being an asshole to try to get away with making millions of dollars to, like, shit on people. Like, literally, his whole thing is shitting on people, all up in their face and in their mouth and all that. Like, oh, damn, that's scat play. Shit, he probably like that too. But really, allegedly dodging taxes because he doesn't own it, but he gets paid a salary from PragerU and he doesn't own PragerU. Like, it's either he's doing a tax dodge allegedly, or the people that's funding him are doing a tax dodge. But anyway,
owns all of my personal product, as it were. But if you find this compelling, you should give those talks a male sexual nature. I just think that's the title of it. The reason that this amazes me, that I have to give it, is I don't believe I would have had to have told this. Excuse me. I don't think that I would have had to have told this to my grandmother. I think my grandmother, and I mean this literally, I don't talk in hyperbole. I believe my grandmother, both my grandmothers, neither of whom went, well, I guess my one grandmother did go to high school. Neither went to college. One grandmother never went to high school. But I would never have had to have given this talk to my grandparents or their parents. And I'm talking grandmothers, let alone grandfathers, who certainly would know what I'm talking about because they're male. And
this is so fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the Elite Dangerous shit, but this is so fucking stupid because, oh, of course, men know what I'm talking about because, no, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Your predatory behavior, which you're about to describe, because I saw a little bit of it, I don't understand that predatory behavior, but of course you would think so. Let's go.
Why would that be? In other words, I believe, I am close to certain, that my grandmother understood male sexual nature better than the average female who gets a PhD in sociology or English or certainly women's studies or gender studies or a whole host of other things. And it's an amazing thing. In other words, you were actually taught to be ignorant at college on many, many subjects. This is one of them. Beginning with the lie that I was told when I was in college that men and women are basically the same. And so if men and women are basically the same, then the whole question is absurd. What do you mean male sexual nature? There's no such thing. Men and women have the same sexual natures. But when you realize it's to say that is to live life on premise A and then believe premise B.
Dennis, men and women have the same sexual nature. The problem is we're socialized different because motherfuckers like you think that, well, whatever a man does sexually is okay, but they want women to be chaste. And they don't understand. That causes a bigger fucking problem. That causes a bigger fucking problem because you're encouraging men to be so prolific with sexual activity, but women to be so chaste. It sends a mixed message between men and women, where the man's conquest is to try to get as many women as he wants. I don't know why I did air quote that. But women are told to be chaste. And you wonder why there's a crop of incels after the proliferation of videos like this. You stupid motherfucker. I mean, like, do you not get what you're propagating? There is no difference. It's a social conditioning that there's a difference. Because women like sex. And I know you and people like Coach Red Pill and all these other red pillers think that women don't like sex. No, women love sex. They love penis. They love cunnilingus. They even love when you don't fuck them, but you touch them really tender. Because they're people. People like sex. And if you think that your God created a situation where men are prolific sexually and women are chaste just naturally, then your God fucked up. Unless he wants all the men to fuck the man who prolifically want to have sex. I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense to me. But let's continue.
It's astonishing to me. If you believe that men and women have the same natures, then how do you explain that all this harassment stuff and all this Me Too stuff and all of that is all in 99.999% of it is all in one direction, male against female? What?
Because the Me Too stuff, as you put it, is about power dynamics. It's about the fact that, you know, men, because of the way our society is structured, have more power. No, I say that as a fucking man. I say that because, you know what, even as much as I try to make shit egalitarian in the friendships or relationships that I have, it is still the presumed power dynamic when it comes to men versus women. Fuck, I'm in the poly community and the swingers community as much as I partake in it, but it is still a power dynamic. As much as I personally don't give a rat's ass about a power dynamic, it is still inherent because it's inherent in our society. And before you say it's natural, no, it's something we choose to in our society. And the fact that you can sit back and say, "Whoa, no, it's just the way men and women are," is bullshit. And you forget the other 90 or 1%, which is bullshit because men get sexually harassed too, are when the women have the power. It's not about gender, Dennis. It's about who has the more power that's trying to impress their will on somebody else. But let's continue.
Why aren't 50% of the harassers female? How come females aren't just walking over to men and touching them in an inappropriate manner? Because they're more self-disciplined? Please. I mean, you've got to have a graduate degree to believe something that's stupid. Okay, it's because it's not in female nature to do that. Gee, I really are. There are all these men working in the office, and I really.
Why do these conservative assholes think that women don't like sex? I'm sorry. Do they not realize women like sex? Let's continue.
I just want to tell them sexual things. I really want to touch them, all over them. Do you understand? No, I guess, well, I'm posing it as a question that isn't worth asking, it's just worth stating. The amount of untruth that is told at college and told in the media and anything else that the left, you have to understand, the left does not believe that the search for truth is a search worth making. They believe that the search is for utopia, a place they imagine that men and women are the same, and then they declare it. Whatever they imagine, that is their reality. It's an extremely immature, childlike thing.
Does anybody want to tell him that if you do that, if you judge by that standard, your religion is... Fuck, your religion actually mentions utopia. Like, goddamn. I was just gonna go for the obvious shit, but that is so smacking of obvious. So smacking of obvious. And then the thing about it is, and not gonna bullshit this. I get it, and I've probably said it before in a video. It's harder for people to imagine a utopia than a dystopia. People feel like they have to be miserable in order to be alive. But wanting to actually shit be better than what we currently have now, it's not a utopia. That's wanting shit to be better. But you don't get that. You don't understand that shit because it will make you have to have some hard truths about your life. But let's continue.
I believe in monsters, so there must be monsters. That's what it is. I believe. I want to believe men and women. By the way, I don't even know why you want to believe that. To me, that is not. It's hardly a wonderful world where both sexes are the same. It's one of the. It's a difficulty. It's a challenge, but it's one of the greatest things on earth that men and women are different.
Wait, what? Like, did he really just say that? What is his fear about men and women both being sexual creatures? I don't understand that. Maybe he'll explain some more.
But that's where that's the reason that I even have to talk about this, because of this, and only the word lie is appropriate, that men and women are basically the same. So again, answer me, how do you explain that all of this stuff? How many women are saying to men who work for them, if you don't sleep with me, you don't get advanced at work? There's just, the sexual natures are so different that it is probably the hardest thing that I know of among humans is for women to understand male sexual nature. Some do. Alison Armstrong, for example, does. She has a tremendous presence on the internet, and I have her on my male-female hour.
So notice he's actually just naming people that agree with what he's saying. Notice that he's just, oh no, this is because you agree with what I say, and my point is the only point of view. So that's why you fuck. That's why she's right. But let's continue.
4 times a year, and I have for about 10 years. She's gifted because she and I asked her often, why do you understand men so well? She said, because I wanted to. That's all it takes. It takes a woman to have the desire to understand men, but most women don't want to in this realm, not because they're bad or anything else, but because it's too frightening and totally.
I mean, like, dude, like, do you kind of get, like, that you just said it was frightening about men and women being men and women being equal? But this is frightening? What about a man's sexual nature is frightening? Like, Dennis, are we saying a fucking peek into your... Are we seeing a peek into your psyche? Because it's nothing about my sexual nature that's frightening. I mean, like, I've been told I'm pretty tame. Like, you know, I've been told that, you know, some of the sexual proclivities that I have, you know, is not too prevalent with a lot of the women that I date, but they they kind of it's not weird, it's not frightening. But, you know, maybe you have other predilections. Let's go.
Totally understandable. Male sexual nature is frightening to women, and I get it. And by the way, when uncontrolled, male sexual nature is frightening. But most men, at least in our society, thank God, do control themselves. But uncontrolled male sexual nature is truly a frightening thing to women. That if there were no moral rules and no police, men would grab women and do what they wanted as a rule. That is the way men are made. The fact that you're...
Yeah, I let him talk long enough, and he put his foot in his mouth. No. Fuck no. No. Hell no. No. Fuck no. Dennis, dude, I am not a rapist. Hell, enthusiastic consent is like a turn on for me. I mean, like it's even been times when I've been messing around with a woman and her body is responding to the things that I'm doing to her, and you know, I still ask for the yes. I still ask to, do you want to go further? And when they give me that breathless yes, that breathless that embrace to keep going, that's a turn on for me. But somebody doesn't want me, the fuck would I want you for then? I know that's a little childish, and then, you know, childish, mature, I don't fucking know. But why would I want to just drag somebody around and just, like, no. That's a mood killer. Like, you don't want me? Like, even just a slight hesitation, like, okay, no, done. You know, come back tomorrow or another day. You know, men don't just think that way. God, like, if you, like, this is why I know that he has no empathy and he's a fucking monster. If you can't imagine the fact that, hey, not everybody is a, you know, assaulter, then you may have a problem, my friend. That's why I wouldn't want motherfuckers like you to live without government or religion or any type of rules, because you're a monster. Well, let's continue.
Or man doesn't act that way is because he has been given a set of rules and because he knows that he will be punished. Or just...
No. I don't act that way because I'm empathetic and I wouldn't want anybody hurting my friends, my family members, or just even my fucking enemies. Why, dog? Why? Like, really, why? Oh. Let's continue.
Enough that he has these set of rules and the fear of punishment is not even necessary. But rules, men know this, and we males, I am one of them, I am male. We know this from a very early age. We can't act out our sexual nature.
Okay, I don't know if I've told this story on the stream before. I specifically, in like 5, I realized I was really attracted to women. Not in the sense that I wanted to like get my pee hard, you know, and like start screwing women at 5. But I knew what I was attracted to with women at 5. And it was just like, ooh, yeah, girls, like them. It was just something innate. But at that time, I didn't start thinking, ooh, let me do things to them. Let me act out. Like, no. Wow. Like girls. Hell, I don't ever think that I've actually been in a lot of starts relationships until up until like pretty recently. But I've always been not the reactor, but I guess that's the best way you could say. Because, dude, I know women who have been assaulted, who have been taken advantage of. I know women like that. And I'm sorry. I will never, ever want to be the cause of somebody else being hurt like that. But you, Dennis, you kind of seem like a creep, dog. That's just the best way of me saying it. You kind of seem like a creep. Because for you to actually say that men are, you know, naturally predatory, that's not even happen. That doesn't even happen in the fucking wild. In the wild, with all of our closest animal relatives, except for the motherfucking gorillas, and they're a fucked up society. Men aren't the aggressors. Women are. And men just happen to, you know, have the privilege of waiting in line in their turn. I'm getting off in a strange way, but men aren't naturally aggressive, and I don't see. Let's continue.
It's made clear to boys in the vast majority of instances at a very early age, and it is a good thing that it is done. But the reason a woman will not want to know is because she wants to believe the feminist lie, the left-wing lie, and I hate using such strong language because the word lie, to me, you have to reserve it for really, really severe moments. But this is...
You're language policing, but you just said men are fucking monsters that like to violate people because if there were no rules, men would just be violating women all the time. But that's okay for you. But language, saying the word lie. Saying the word lie is a problem to you?
Severe. That men and women are basically the same is a spectacular lie. And so what happened, by the way, I have lived long enough to see the results. So all these young women go to college, they learn this lie. Oh, you have the same sexual nature as a man. So they act out on it. You're as happy with non-committed, non-emotional sex as males are.
In truth, nobody's really happy with it. Nobody's really happy with hookup cultures to an extent. I'm going to say to an extent. People are happy with exploring their sexuality. People are happy with making sure that they are able to, feel better about themselves, learn more about themselves, and actually just discover what makes them happy. There are some people, and I made a generalization. There are some people that can do that with a tentative connection. Some people need a little bit more substantial, and some people need highly more substantial. But it's not just, ooh, who gets the sex tonight? Like, no, that's not what happens, dog. That's not a thing. It's really, you have to vibe with somebody. You have to get to know somebody. And the bounds of that connection, okay, it depends after the relationship, after the interaction happens, but you're oversimplizing this to a point where it's just like, hey, my name is, Crimson. Wanna fuck? That's not how that happens, dog. Well, in some swingers events, but then you kind of know the community, but I'm going off on a whole different tangent.
So a lot of girls say, oh yes, I'm just like a guy. I could sleep around just as much as guys want to sleep around. And this is not true for every female, clearly, I recognize that. But for most, that is not a road to happiness. Whereas for men, it may not be a road for happiness, but it certainly isn't a road to unhappiness. Men are very happy to have women say, oh, I'm just like you, let's sleep together. Men are very happy to meet such a woman who has that attitude. But one of the reasons that there is this lie, another lie, that colleges are a rape culture, I can prove to you it's a lie, because parents would never send their daughters to a rape culture.
No, dog. College aren't a rape culture. It's not that, and that's not what the thing is. The thing is, a lot of people are pressured into consent. And yes, I know a pea brain like you would not be able to understand the difference of a spectrum versus a duality. It's not a duality when it comes to shit like that. I really need you to understand that. It's... Okay. So. I'm going to say this. I want to make sure that I clear up some things. Pressuring somebody into having sex may not be violent, but it still can actually leave somebody in a sense where it goes against their consent. And I know, shocker, like, no, wow. Like, you gotta convince, like, if you have to convince somebody to sleep with you, one, you should evaluate why are you convincing them. Two, like, it's not a good thing. It's gonna make them feel like they were tricked. It's gonna make people feel like they're tricked. And then those negative emotions can morph into something really bad because you don't know what else happened in their lives where they feel that they lost power to say yes or no. So I implore you, guys, ladies, whoever is hearing this, never make it where I'm going to convince them. Like, no. If they say yes, they say yes. And if you think that that's going to cut down the chances of you getting some, it's better to not have that momentary orgasm than just to be able to say, like, yeah, we didn't go this far, maybe next time. That's just simple. But motherfuckers like this can't understand that there is a spectrum of, if I feel pressured, and once you get to that level where they feel pressured, it's a bad thing. But that's not just at fucking college, you idiot. If you had a real university, you'll know that. But he's just grinning like he's figured it out. The fuck? Idiots. Let's go.
Okay, so people say it, but they don't believe it. Would you send your daughter to a place you thought had a rape culture? Of course not. Would you go if you were female? Of course not. So that's a big lie. By the way, to get me to defend colleges shows I'm committed to truth, because I can't stand what colleges have become. And this, so anyway, this is the.
Oh, is it that you can't stand the fact that colleges have now become more and more I don't know how to say it. They've become more and more profit margins for profit centers for people to make money in I guess you can say put the squeeze on so many middle class and lower middle class kids to make sure that they can actually quote unquote get an education and get a good job and claw their way out of the poor situations that a lot of people are. But you know what, Dennis, you don't like poor people. But let's continue.
Argument. So a lot of the women, why is it called again a rape culture? Because a lot of women do have a fair amount of sex with different men and then feel very unhappy about it afterwards, even depressed. It's not been a road to their happiness.
Like, he's upset with this, like, how dare they have a lot of sex with different men, and it's like, no, that vagina should be, that vagina is made for one man only. Like, the fuck? Like, dude, I get it. You kind of, you're kind of mad because you've had to force so many women or convince so many women to have sex with you. It's fucking unbelievable because you're a piece of shit person and probably was great at fucking, totally great at fucking 12. I'm one to talk, but let's continue.
Are there some women who love it? I have no doubt there are some women who love it. I can never account for everyone. If you have to account for everyone, you will never understand life. You have.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did he just become self-aware? In the past.
Have to be able to make generalizations about most. Seatbelts save lives. Does it save everyone's life in a crash? No. Sometimes people are killed by a seatbelt. But the statement seatbelts save lives is accurate.
This is from the guy who says, I'm not a big fan of masks.
So too, whatever statements I'm making about sexual nature of men versus women. So, okay. So, in no...
Look at him weaseling his way out of it. Weaseling his way out of it. Because he would always say, well, that person doesn't fit the mold, but all these other people does. Let's continue.
Order of importance. One vast difference is that sex is on males' minds a lot. Or as a friend of mine said to me in high school, and he was a religious guy. He came over to me one day, Dennis, I did a survey of the guys in our class, and I came to the conclusion that 1 out of every 10 thoughts a guy has is not about sex. That was a brilliant line. That's why I didn't forget it.
Ha ha. Funny. This goes back to my point about the socialization of men. And I say, and I saw this in one of the groups that I'm in Facebook. Yeah, I still do Facebook. But men are permitted to have quantity. Women are permitted to have fluidity. It's okay for men to have quantity of fucking sexual partners. And in a lot of cases, women are praised to have fucking fluidity. And even in his fucking circles. The religious right and all that other good shit. And look at Jerry Falwell, the Jerry Falwell Jr., whatever the fuck his name is. If there was an instance where a married, God-fearing couple decided to let their wives, their wives let their if a married, oh shit, let me start over. If there was a situation with a God-fearing married couple and the wife allowed her husband a present of another woman to partake in their bedroom activities, it wouldn't be frowned upon because so many motherfucking religious leaders, God, yeah. And, let's face it, middle class suburban households, they wouldn't look down on the wife letting the husband have a threesome with another woman. They wouldn't. They would just say, don't let it get out. That's serious. Like, seriously, let's be honest. Hell, in the Bible, it's men that have multiple wives. What was it? Every patriarch in the Abrahamic religions has more than one wife. They have concubines. Oh, and you think the women weren't touching each other? Oh, wow, yeah. But let's continue.
I wasn't in high school yesterday, and I remember it, and I thought that is really funny because there's so much truth to it. Women would be, if women got a male brain for a day, there would be a lot of reactions. First of all, they would be astonished at how little is going on. That would be one of the major.
YouTube, work, going to the gym, drawing, building a business on drawing, plan on actually having an art studio, plan on actually expanding my YouTube or gaming and shit like that. These are thoughts that I have daily. Goals, desires, and yes, of course I think about sex. Fucking human. But my mind isn't just, sex flies through this way, sex flies through that way, and everything else is small and in between. Dennis, are you showing what's happening behind the, curtain, the man behind the curtain? But let's continue.
they would go, oh my God, free at last. Whereas if men got a woman's brain for a date, I think they would shoot themselves. We would not allow them to have access to a weapon, because they would probably kill themselves. So much is going on in the female brain at one time. So they're very different brains, which there's a very funny thing on the internet about a guy talking about the male brain and the female brain, and he walks over to a male, a sculpture of a male head and a sculpture of a female head. By the way, there are so many hilarious things on the internet about male-female differences, and they all resonate to the exact same ideas that I'm talking to you about now, because
all right, I'll let him go a little bit longer there, and I'm going to be wrapping this up soon. Maybe I'll do a part 2 later on. We're halfway through anyway. You know what? I think I may agree with him on something. If men had to live with the social conditioning that women have to live with for a day, they may violently hurt themselves. Because we fucking torture women. And this isn't from a standpoint of, oh, I'm trying to simp or I'm trying to do this. Like, no. Like, and I was watching the comedian actually yesterday. It's like, women mature faster than men because, not because of natural things, because from the moment they're born, they're told, here, take care of this little baby. You have to prepare to be a mother. You have to do this shit. And it's just like, when we got old, when I was a little kid, I was told G.I. Joe and shit like that. Literally, I'm from the G.I. Joe area. I'm 38. And we wonder why we are told of different responsibilities, or we have to handle shit different because of our responsibilities. And it's just like, I'm going to break it here. I need to get ready for work, set up my computer and shit, and grab me something to eat before I start working. But Denis Prager is just like, he's really telling about how fucked up he is, and how just like it really bothers me. Like, this motherfucker thinks that everybody is as simple as he is, everybody is corrupt as he is, and everybody is just massively narcissistic and evil as he is. That's not the case, dog. You're a bad person. And I'm going to get more into how fucked up of a person he is when we come back. Probably tomorrow morning. But as for right now, guys, thanks for watching the video. I will catch you guys later. Peace.